All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be smoking some dino ribs or some beef ribs on the pellet smoker. Gonna go ahead and get those seasoned up, get them trimmed up, and throw it on the smoker. Smoker's fired up and ready to go. So let's get this started. All right, everybody, so here we have those beef plate ribs that we're gonna be smoking up today. These are what they call dino ribs. The reason for that is obviously because these ribs are huge. So these are a lot bigger than what you get to see on typically like those baby back or pork ribs. These are nice and big. They usually come in sections of 3 like this, and really good intramuscular fat on these, so they're going to be super flavorful. But what we're going to start off with is just taking this top layer of fat off. There is some silver skin that you can actually see right here. We want to get under there and we want to remove all that. So let's go ahead and get this taken off, and then we'll get this seasoned up. All right, so kind of a little bit opposite of what you're doing with briskets. You want to, at least I want to take all of this off because this is going to go bone side down. So you leave the fat on top of a brisket, particularly when you're using it on a pellet smoker. It kind of helps shield the meat from the heat that's coming directly from underneath. In this case, the bones are going to do that. So we're not going to turn or flip or anything on this. We're going to leave it bone side down the entire time. So we want to go ahead and take this entire top layer of fat off because it's not going to be necessary for the cook or for the final product. So start with just making a little indent of a cut. See where you're at because you don't want to take off meat. While these are meaty, they don't have as much meat as a brisket. So you want to be careful. Like I've said before, sharp knife is going to be your best friend with this. So if you got to pick it up, move it around, see what you're doing and what you're cutting into, do that. Then for this silver skin, you want to stick the point of your knife kind of right underneath it and just gently get underneath. And then you might make an incision on the other end and then just come out with. All right, so now that I've just taken a section of this off here, remember this is a choice grade. And I mean, just the amount of marbling that's in there, when you slow cook that in a smoker, it's just going to melt beautifully and taste delicious. Remember, make a cut and lift it up. Make sure you're not taking too much meat off. So we're getting a little bit thin here with not so much meat. So I'm going to leave that section as it is. I'm going to take off a little bit more here because as you can see, there's just a big fat layer there. But we're not going to take all of it off. Just most of it. All right, guys, so now that most of the surface fat has been taken off, it's exactly what we're looking for there. You're pretty much done. We're not doing anything to the backside. So for like baby back ribs, you would take this membrane off. We're keeping that on. I'm going to take this part off just because that's just going to burn. But other than that, you're done. So this is ready for some seasoning. And so for seasoning, I'm going to be using, again, just some SPG. And then I'm going to also add a little bit more black pepper on here too, because I want to make this nice peppery beef rib here. So I'm going to go ahead and change out my gloves and get this seasoned up. All right, so first I'm going to come in with just salt, pepper, garlic, SPG. We're going to get a nice layer of that all over. Kind of like a brisket. This is thick, big piece of meat, so be generous. You just pat that in. We're going to get the sides. Then the back side. I've seen it go both ways. People season, people don't. This is my first time doing beef ribs, so I'm going to just go ahead and season it and see how it ends up. But I'm not going to put extra pepper on this side because this is usually the part where people don't eat. This will separate off, and so it's not going to be connected in the end. And some people eat it, most people don't. I'm going to try it anyway, so I'm going to just season it a bit just to see what it's like, and then make a determination for the next time. So once we've got it all over with the SPG, now we're going to just come in with some more pepper. Make it nice and peppery. Now, if you're worried about over peppering and making it too spicy, the smoke will mellow it out. So it's not going to end up being as spicy as you think. All right, guys, so that's it as far as seasoning goes. The pellet smoker is running. I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about what I'm doing with the temperature for this, with this being a pellet smoker. I'm going to do that outside, though. So let's go ahead and get this brought out and then show you what we're going to do. All right, guys, so we're out here. I've got the pellet grill set to 190, smoke level 7 on here. I've got a smoke tube going as well. Let's go ahead and get this put on. This part's pretty obvious, pretty self-explanatory. We're just putting this right down. I'm actually going to go this way because this is the thicker part. And so it's going to be facing that smoke tube. So it's going to take a little bit more heat. Now, as far as temperature goes, let's go ahead and just get this closed up. As far as temperature goes, why am I doing 190? So we all know pellet smokers are great. They're super convenient. However, with pellet smokers, you don't get as much smoke flavor. By smoking at a temperature of 190, you're bringing it down. It's going to produce a little bit more smoke because the cooker is not burning the wood as efficiently. So we want that to be a little bit lower to create some more smoke along with that smoke tube. Get as much of that smoke on there as possible. And then later on, we'll bump the temperature up probably to about 250. So most people do cook these beef ribs at about 250 to 275 on offset smokers, typical actual wood chunk smokers. You can't do that with a pellet grill. So we're going to go a little bit lower. It's going to take us a little bit longer, but it's going to create a much better end product. So I'm going to probably let that go for about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. Check back on it then, see what the bark is looking like, and then make a decision as to whether or not we're going to bump that temperature up. So I'll see you guys in a few hours. All right, all. So we are about 4 hours in now, and I have gone ahead and bumped up the temperature to 225 there. So I can get that to focus. 225. Internal temperature on those is already 162. So we're pretty close. Here's how we're looking so far. You can see there, we're getting some of that bone separation. That's exactly what you want to see. Bark looks pretty decent. So we're going to go ahead and let this go now. Come back probably a little over 205. So I'm guessing another couple of hours. Shouldn't take too long. Then we'll get to cutting into this bad boy. So I'll see you soon. All right, y'all. So we are going on about 7.5 hours here. Probe's telling me that it's 189. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we're looking like. That is looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and just probe this here myself. And that's telling me 173, 185, and I mean it is pretty tender as it is. So I'm gonna kick up the temperature another 25 degrees here, let it go just a little bit longer, but I think that that's pretty good. I don't know if we're gonna have to get all the way up to 200 here, so I'm gonna kick it up a little bit more, let it go a little bit longer, and come back in just a few moments here. So I'm gonna let it go probably for another about a half hour to an hour, and then come back from there. So see you back soon. All right, everybody. So after doing a little bit of research, about half hour that this has been on since I bumped up the temp, sounds like anywhere between 180 to 190 is going to be perfect for beef ribs. And again, just judging by how tender it is, again with the probe, if you can see, it's just it's like butter. I mean, this is what I would expect a good brisket to be at. So we're gonna go ahead and get this pulled off, brought inside, take a look at what we're able to cook up here. So go ahead and just do that and see you inside. All right, guys. So we're inside now again, and this is looking exactly what I would like to see. You can see how much is pulled back from the bone there. That's a really good sign. That means that it cooked well. And then, of course, the bark itself is nice and crispy. I did a no wrap on this, so you could wrap these, but I mean, just with the amount of time and there not being really a stall, I didn't really see a need to. So I think that that really helped with developing a nice bark. I also didn't spritz this at all, which that usually helps with creating a bark as well. But in this case, this made a nice crispy bark. So I'm really happy with the results so far. Especially that this being my first time doing beef ribs like this. So to me, it looks really good. As far as if you're serving this to people, presentation wise, you obviously have a separation between the bones there. So you would take a knife and you would just, of course, cut. But I want to do a couple of different things. I am going to cut one, but I also want to remove the bone on another. I just want to see how clean the bone comes off. So let's go ahead and get to slicing into this thing and see what we've got inside there. All right, let's go ahead and pull this left bone out, see what we're working with. And that's exactly what you want to see. I mean, pulled clean out. There's no meat on there. I mean, this is why they call them DINO ribs, because I mean, this is just a huge rib. So super happy with that, of course. Inside there, you see this underside here, just kind of crisped up. So that's probably going to taste pretty good. So I'm going to keep that on for now. Now let's go ahead and cut into this rib here. I mean, that is beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. You can see how juicy that is. The juice is just running right out. I mean, I mean, you can't be happier with that. That is amazing looking. Let's get another cut in here from this side. Get this one side out from where this rib was. I mean, that's just perfection. That is just perfection. So, super happy with that. I'm going to get a cut out of this to try. Get rid of that underside. It's probably still hot. I mean, a lot of people say this is better than brisket, and I can see why. Because that is insanely good. Insanely good. And if you guys are doing this on a pellet smoker, do it the exact way that I told you. Run it at 190 at a higher smoke setting at first. It's going to take a little bit longer, but the payoff is just worth it. I mean, get another look at that. Just beautiful smoke ring there. Perfectly cooked. The fat is rendered out beautifully. That's amazing. So, guys, that's a video. I'm super happy with this. Let me know what you think of it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. It's going to really help out the channel so that I can keep doing things like this, because this is that is amazing. That is really, truly amazing. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.